What's up? I was like, I said that, and then I was like, oh, that was... I don't sound happy to be here. I am happy to be here. I just didn't have the best morning, or the last 2 hours were kind of annoying. Hi. Welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the trilogy. But today, we're finishing Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the first game. The last case, Rise from the Ashes. We are finishing that today. I don't know how long it's gonna take. I'm gonna say less than 2 hours, but we'll see. It depends on the jokes and how bad I am at the game. So last time we began the final trial. Gant is most definitely connected to the case, but we can't get him. We can't me when I fucking get you with him because he, unfortunately cannot be tied with any concrete evidence yet. But we're about to put Lana on the stand because it's obvious that he's been blackmailing Lana over Emma because Emma accidentally killed Neil Marshall. Not Joe Dark didn't do it. Joe Dark didn't do that one. Emma seems to have. But it's an Ace Attorney game, you never fucking know what's gonna happen. In true Ace Attorney fashion, we will know the truth at the end. And man, speaking of the truth and that, Edgeworth's going through it, guys. I feel really bad for him. He's meow meow, and I really like making fun of him, but like, damn, dude, it's rough for him. So, let's settle this, shall we? By the way, today, I guess if you're watching this as a VOD, this is not as relevant to you, but tonight, first night of Ramadan. Don't forget, I have the link in my bio for a Care for Gaza. Another thing you can do that's $0 is going to Arab.org and clicking, do your daily clicks for Palestine. It counts as 2 clicks if you do it on your PC and your phone. If you don't have a Mac. So, double click every day. It's nice. It's easy. Anyway, let's get into it. Oh. Okay. Oh, hi. Edgeworth's like, huh. I wasn't expecting. Oh, I'm never gonna recover from choking on my spit at the beginning. I wasn't expecting to go straight into Edgeworth glaring at me, but here we are. Okay. Let's do this. He's so angry. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. Now kiss. Hey pal, that chief, he's something else, eh pals? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Hi Nim! Nah, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Could he mean Maya? He wants to be my weird girl. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. Thank you! I really am glad with how, like, the backgrounds I really don't try, I'll be honest. But I was excited with how I looked at it as Fran. I was like, ooh, I kind of serve cunt. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said? Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, The opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right? Is this Emma?
You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Hey girl. I thought it might be you.
Emma! Are you okay?
Yeah. When I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery.
So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before.
No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved.
Relieved?
Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me.
Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. We're not even 15 minutes in and Edward's making me so depressed again, dude. He's speaking from his own experiences. That must be why she became so cold. But for Edgeworth, it's lasted a lot longer than 2 years. He doesn't know how to undo it so easily.
It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
You didn't murder him. It's manslaughter. It's different. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. And I'm always saying that.
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor.
I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait?
No, I'm going with you. I want to be there. When Lana tells the truth.
Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. And we kiss. Oh, there's the to be continued. Oops. Should have done a little bit more. It's fine. My voice was gone yesterday. That judge flashback, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it. I woke up this morning and my voice was really bad. But I feel better now.
Now then, will the defendant, Ms. Lana Skye, please take the stand?
Right, because Edgeworth can't call witnesses right now. He's forfeited the right. Ms. Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Ms. Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth.
Of course. The truth.
Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister.
The judge is a rough one. I really fucked myself with that.
Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant.
Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. It does not help that the humidity and stuff keeps changing here. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
Are you sure about this testimony? You sound like a liar.
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course, I'm sure.
But Lana... If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning.
Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me.
But what if she's telling the truth?
She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. Do you think that took to Phoenix because he was thinking of, like, Edgeworth's case a couple months ago? Like, the parallels between him and Alana are really interesting. The parallels with both of the Sky Sisters and Edgeworth are really interesting.
The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Okay. Worked alongside him for years. How was it? How many years, exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see. I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years.
Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases.
She must have been good, coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why. No truth. I doubt you. But think about it, Ms. Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And... Can't believe I'm older than Lana now. Yeah, dude, it doesn't feel the best. That's how I was feeling when I was looking at a fucking... Oh, you can't see the profiles right now. Gumshoe. Like, ooh. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him.
Lana? So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago?
Yeah. You rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. But let's think, Phoenix. Right? So, if Marshall was stabbed with the it wouldn't have stuck in him. Right? And he only had one stab wound, right? So either Dark stuck his knife directly into the same stab wound, or Dark was the one who murdered him, or there was somebody who got there before Lana.
All just to protect me. So when you found this scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes. Broke off the tip of the knife, planted it inside the wound, and moved the body. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound?
And then you moved the body.
But why? Why would you do that? You, of all people, should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. Why did you plant the knife? Why did you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out, but I want to hear you say it.
Very well. Let's add this to the witness this testimony. Sometimes I can't talk. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife.
I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right? Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Dark. I felt the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body.
So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound?
Yes. Because I hated Dark for what he did. My motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence?
She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened.
In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions.
Mr. Wright, my sister's lying.
Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself.
There's no way she could have done it all alone.
I've gotta get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. I want to also see what she says about moving the body. Okay, hold on. Go back to this. Yeah, you did that. Edward would be like, why? She'd be like, you should know. You're smart. He's like, why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple.
Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body.
Pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Okay, interesting. Pieces of the jar? You mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle.
I see.
What's the matter, Emma?
Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that.
There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Because we have Emma's testimony saying she saw it in the air at one point. Right? Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. Okay. I have to think.
I'm thinking.
So... I think we want to see this, because she saw this. But that kind of, I don't feel like that contradicts necessarily, but let's try. Okay, no, it doesn't contradict. Okay, yeah, that's very fair. I actually also didn't think that that particularly contradicted. Shadow the events during plan. Okay, what about this? Okay, no. Is it the jar itself then? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's strange because, like, I get why that's the thing I'm supposed to present, but it's also, like, not what I would have chosen to make as one of the things you present here, if that makes sense. Anyway. Ms. Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister.
You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered?
If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony. You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right.
Do you have a problem with that?
It's a simple oversight, Billy. You see, a message was written. Oh yeah, I guess this makes sense then. Yeah, I rescind what I said earlier. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so, which means that the jar was intact, and this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Ah. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Well, he could have, but the pieces wouldn't have fit together so perfectly.
Order! Order!
Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed.
What?
Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth.
Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony.
Sorry, I'm getting emotional because every once in a while on social media, usually Twitter, I see the art of a bunch of the Ace Attorney characters, and they're like walking, and so there's like Athena and Apollo at the front, Trucy's there, Maya's there, I think like Simon is there, and there's like a younger Mia and Phoenix in the background, and then like Phoenix and Edgeworth are walking together too, and they're walking in stride, and that really does something to me emotionally. And just like the way Edgeworth there was like, we're going to do this like together, it is so like, wow, oh my god, they've come so far, and look, they'll continue to go so far. And even not thinking about it as a ship, but thinking about their friendship, that's so meaningful, right? Like, that means a lot. I'm sure that means a lot to Phoenix too. Yeah, it's a great art. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. It's so good. It makes me so emotional when I see that art. Them, like, walking in stride with each other. Oh, man, dude, that shit does something to me.
You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood?
I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time.
She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
So the jar was already broken? It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier.
It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case.
But not as feeble as the judge's judgment. Get him. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case.
Lana, you do that for me?
It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came.
This is rather shocking.
I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened.
What do you mean?
If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation?
Lana?
I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. You didn't. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me.
Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go.
I never miss anything. I got every last piece. You did not. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene. You're going to jail for that. Yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions.
I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time.
It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident.
No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony.
Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I've finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around.
I know what it is, I think.
It's too dark. Fragments are large. Sure, you got them all. The final... I think it's this again, because the final fragment was found in his safe, is the important part, right? And mayhaps she didn't know. Ms. Sky. Or at least when she was wiping the blood, maybe she didn't know. I don't know. Ms. Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it.
But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them.
Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you.
Well, couldn't the defendant simply have missed a piece?
I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective.
That well may be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along.
He's so real for that.
Can you believe that?
I've forgotten, Your Honor. We are in the middle of a trial. When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken.
Oh, that.
There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness.
I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar?
The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that?
No!
You're so determined to protect this man, I can only think you're sleeping with him.
Wait, I'm not the one on trial here.
Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar, and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence.
But why would Chief Gant do that?
In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear?
What happened afterwards?
Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. The reason why Ms. Skye became the chief's puppet. No, I did it on my own.
Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake.
No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client.
I guess you do seem like the type who likes to twist the truth.
Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap?
There's something wrong, Mr. Wright.
Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, right?
So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright?
Her leaning forward sprite's one of my faves. Cause like every other sprite, she's so composed and everything, and even the thumb biting one is very composed. But that one, she really feels like a girl. She feels very young, like protecting her sister, like young, not 29, not even 20. Ms. Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie.
But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall.
Ms. Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw.
All right. The witness may testify once more for the final time.
When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent.
Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword.
It's not a sword, it's a halberd. You guys are so stupid. That's not what a sword looks like. See, look. It's not a sword. It's a fucking spear. They're so stupid. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that.
Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you.
Very well.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture.
I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana.
Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right?
I seem to remember getting something from her then.
Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere.
That would be this. And cute.
Beal.
Oh. Ah. Hey, there's a picture here. Wow. Oh.
Oh my. This is the actual crime scene.
No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had arranged everything.
Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest. Could that be?
The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. What's this?
This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth. It had fingerprints on it. Whosever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer.
What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma.
Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. Stop having a conversation without me. I'm feeling really left out. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Trixie. But if... So here's the thing, though. If Emma was the real murderer, why would he cut away the piece? I guess. I guess to blackmail her. Huh? What? Oh my god. Come now, Wudgie! This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen!
Chief Gant.
What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Yeah, I didn't remember that. That did startle me a little. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all of the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence.
Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence?
No, I don't, but someone does.
Someone?
So, what's your excuse, Rido? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt.
Is this true, Mr. Wright? Fuck.
I show that piece of evidence now. Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Oops.
Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries.
What do I do now? I'd better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? So, okay, here's my reasoning. I think we should show it because I don't think it's decisive that how do I say? That she did it. Because, like, he very specifically is collecting the how do I say? The evidence that frames Emma. That makes Emma look out to look like he's making Emma he is making Emma out to look like the perpetrator for the case of showing the evidence. Right? So I'm not sure of the validity of the evidence in this case. Like, how do I say? We don't have the context, I guess, for why he did it. I guess it would have been, wait a minute. Hold on. I think I actually can answer my own question if I... Evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to every case on trial. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie!
Chief Gant.
You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Gaslight gatekeep girl boss Phoenix. Let's go. I don't know if this is the right decision. I'm trying to bait him out. I think we need to bait him out into saying why he took the evidence. Because then that would put him at the crime scene before Lana, if that makes sense. That's what I'm trying to get to in my head. I don't know if that's what the game wants me to do, but if I were Phoenix, that's what I would do. His little head shake is always so cute.
Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it, that's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? What is bro yapping about? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. Oh, fuck. Okay, no, hold on. I'm glad we didn't show it. We did the right thing because the blood. He cut this before Neil Marshall puked blood. Before he spat blood. Which he presumably didn't do until he was stabbed in the lung or heart or wherever he was stabbed. Okay. So I think we're trapping him. Get got. See the victim's vest. Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe?
What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department.
Oh yeah, that sucks. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened.
What? You mean you admit to it?
No amount of cute old man yaoi little hair twirly will save you, my friend. I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana.
So you really were manipulating her?
I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Ms. Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you.
2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe?
But why? For insurance, of course.
Insurance?
I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed.
You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence?
What do you take me for? A fool? I didn't make the police dumb. I didn't make the police dumb! I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too? Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Righto, cough it up already. I know you have it.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright?
So you admit to it then, Chief Gant? That you were hiding the cloth you cut off in the victim's vest in your safe? Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present.
Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Okay. Hold on. I guess I would show it this time, right? Otherwise I'm gonna get in trouble. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now.
Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall.
I don't know if this is good. Okay. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh yes! At last you finally brought it out into the open.
There's a handprint on this piece of cloth.
Your Honor, the prosecution requests that it immediately be sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly.
Huh, you mean?
It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Rido had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that?
Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they?
Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... Feels bad.
Emma Skye! What? They're mine?
I'm sorry, Emma.
But why? Why didn't you tell me?
You're really something, Rido. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me.
So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death.
How could you? You monster!
Miss Skye.
You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Skye, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. love it when he doesn't move. He just looks at you. What an enigma of a man. I cannot help but stan. You purposefully concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? He knows the power of his stare. Edgeworth is like sweating. Like, keep it together, it's not about me right now. Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Skye, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical, is that how you say that? Tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. It would be this. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Ms. Skye took. Take a good look at it. Like, really good. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait, there's no blood on it. Ah! Since Emma Skye's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense! Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Ms. Lana Skye, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. No! It's finally all over. I doubt it. That bitch always be saying something. And what did I just say? Meow meow. That was close, right? Oh, you almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Sopping wet, man. Order! Order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Aji? Earlier, old Rido here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Rido? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time.
Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence.
At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence.
That's not fair.
Did you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son.
I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal.
Well, Mr. Wright?
I love the idea of, like, Edgeworth understanding where Phoenix is going with this, and him doing, like a point to his brain, and then the Phoenix, like, back and forth from across the benches, while Gant's going all crazy, and then Phoenix is, like, gives him a little bit of a nod, and Edgeworth gives him a nod back, and, like, kind of like, okay, alright. Like, wags his finger to himself, like, I get it. Just, I love that occasionally they would do that, and it would be so funny. It seems, at last, the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived.
Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? Have you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth?
I didn't illegally do it. I didn't. I admit, I refused to present it at one point. So the evidence is illegal. No. Shut up. Shh. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh. It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't?
There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. We don't usually use them, but... No, Aji, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward you can't really believe. My boyfriend is talking. You will not speak over my boyfriend. Phoenix like, There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence illegal or not?
Very well. Let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now.
Yeah, handy dandy notebook. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. It says PO on the back.
Oh, it says PO on the back.
Yes, it does say PO on the back. What's this? It says PO on the back. Sorry. I've done my homework too, Chief. I haven't. I am improving. I am. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth. Nothing more.
What?
You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It all goes without saying that I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence must be, wow. Let me try this again. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall, when was that picture presented?
That was shown only a few moments ago.
No. He's right. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh, yes. Idiot. No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gantz. The killer was you. No. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum! For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've gotta help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Sorry, I needed water. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm gonna hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. That accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car? I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how? How could you get Ms. Sky involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker? I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar and fragments in the glove. Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me. We're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone.
You're not alone, Edgeworth. You have Phoenix. And even if you didn't have him, you have Gumshoe. You have Emma.
Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy.
What?
Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend.
I'm sorry too, Damon Kent. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator, and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person.
Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Rhino here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning.
Hey, I feel like you owe me an apology, Lana.
Just a little one. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. Hi, Tetra. you're just in time for the very end. You see, Ms. Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today.
So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered.
I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have. For a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth.
Stop it! He's just like me, for real!
He's just like me, for real. You guys have to understand, he is just... This is... Anecdote time. Anecdote time. I'm so sorry we're at the end of this, but I have to tell an anecdote real fast. My friend and I, Megan, if you see this, hello. My friend and I cosplayed Apollo and Clavier, and I styled the wigs, and I like styling wigs, and it was good. And I was pretty satisfied with how our wigs came out. And Megan mentioned on their stream, Danny and Megan's stream, about it, and then I don't take compliments well, and so I was like, okay, that's enough, stop. And then they like kept piling on compliments, and then Danny was like, people love you, and I was like, no! Sitting in my apartment, verbally near tears, being like, stop! And Megan told me, I told Megan about it later, she's like, yeah, I felt really bad, because I was like, uh-oh, we've overwhelmed Kat. It was so funny. He's just like me, for real. Stop it. I only did my job.
In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us.
Miss Sky,
Yes, Your Honor.
you are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling?
It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains.
Well, this trial has gone on for far too long already.
You said it.
Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Ms. Lana Sky.
Hot Milky! Yippee! You should get that hand wound properly checked out, by the way.
That is all. This court is adjourned.
Wow, we did it. Oh my god. We did it. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook. Sorry I pressed that button accidentally. I was trying to do one of these. But at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit.
No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended.
I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well.
You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. I love you. Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding.
Oh, are you here because of my sister again?
Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal.
Me?
That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana! Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Aw, Gumshoe. Emma, I owe you an apology.
It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it.
That day, 2 years ago. Was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess.
Sis.
I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew.
But sis, you were only doing it for me.
No.
Huh?
I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you.
Sis?
I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry.
But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now.
You're happy?
Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have.
Oh, Emma. Emma. Oh. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me. Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Oh, he was lurking. I love him. Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Hello. Where was he hiding? He's just like lurking in the fucking corner. I love him. What a loser. I just came to say congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Right. Well, I'll be going now. No. Come back. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself from what happened. For what happened. Whatever. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. You were like, yeah, why did they make the ending so cute? And then the game was like, okay, we can fix that. We can make it sad now. We're gonna play the DL6 music and say Edgeworth say it's too late for me. Why do I have to play the DL6 theme? It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I planned to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary. I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? He was too busy thinking about, like, fuck, he's really depressed. What do I do?
Come on, Mr. Wright. Show him what Lana's talking about.
Evidence, huh? This is so sweet, though. If this is what I remember it to be. Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own.
That's the picture I drew.
Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore it in this picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go.
Mr. Edgeworth.
If you'll excuse me. There are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor.
Bye.
Edgeworth! What will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I'm experiencing psychic damage. I'm experiencing psychic damage. Help. They make me insane. They make me so genuinely insane. Okay. I better be going too.
Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon.
It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you.
Scientific investigation. It says PU on the back.
It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well.
Thanks, sis. I will.
The cheerful music is evil. Pure fucking evil, dude. And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Why is Edgeworth front and center? What else are we supposed to think? Like, what else are we supposed to think? Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh?
Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side.
Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here's the one who will be fitting the foot in the bill. Huh? Huh? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. I'm newly unemployed. Huh? 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 What?
Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best.
Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream? He's so real for that. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go.
Oh my god. What a game. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Aw. Nuri-san. Yikes, I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily. You tell him, Gumshoe. I don't even know what to say. I'm like so... Oh, there you are.
My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner is keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though. Someday I'm going to make detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe.
Like... I have things to say, but I'm like, I need a moment. Let's just do these credits and then I'll say what I want to say. Because I'm like suffering. Boop 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 boop, 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 boop. What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? Ms. Starr managed to sneak this into me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, it looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu, the Right Way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer's as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Brendan Gay, let's go.
I'll never forget what the young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for, how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... Huh? Oh, no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go.
Hey! Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Next Mystic Maya, afternoon training's about to begin. Coming. Well, see you around, Nick.
I just feel sad. I feel sad. Finishing that case feels bad. It feels sad. Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth. I brought you your tea. What's going on?
Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book.
Pio. I forgot that the bellboy is the one who finds that letter. I'm sad. I'm sad. What a sad time. Feels bad. Well, that's it. That's the end of the first game. I think this is a wonderful game. I think that some parts of it aged like cheese. And we're gonna see that with other parts of the trilogy as well. But the characters are they're so memorable. Like, there's a reason that Almost Christmas means it wasn't Christmas. Like, these, like, memes survived. And they also, like, made their way outside of the fandom. It's genuinely so funny. Localization team. I know there's complaints about, like, they made it burgers instead of ramen and that kind of stuff, but it's funny. And it really is kind of like, that's... what did he type? Send his message to the chat. He wants to be heard. But, like, how do I say? This game is so memorable and special and so of its time. And it really is like anyone can play it. And Shutakumi definitely made that with this made this game with that in mind, because he wanted his mom to be able to play it. I played this with my parents. Oh, he did send it? Oh, I wonder if it got, like, sent as, or marked as spam, because I can't see it. Yeah, this is a great game, for sure. It's a classic. Cases 1-4 and 1-5 are pretty classic as well, especially 1-4. So, Friday, I won't be streaming. I'm doing an event for my students. But, on Sunday, we're starting Justice for All. The event is already up. We're starting Justice for All. This game, probably my least favorite Ace Attorney game, but It's ironic. It's my least favorite Ace Attorney game overall, but it has one of my favorite cases of all time, if not just my favorite case of all time, in it. The conclusion of this game makes me, like, if you think I was being insane during 1.4 and 1.5, I have bad news for you about 2.4. Yeah, so I'm really excited. New characters, old friends, yada yada. It'll be good. It'll be a good time. But until then, enjoy the rest of your week. You know the drill. Here, I'll wait for you to send the... Let Fang be heard. JFA hype for real, for real. What do you type? Oh, he just sent a ton of, like, punctuation over and over again. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, what a sweet boy. He's in chat. Anyway, yeah, you guys know the drill. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. Be good to yourself. Be kind. Stay safe. Stay hydrated. Again, it's the first day of Ramadan as I'm streaming this, so if you can, at least do the clicks, the free clicks on Arab.org. You can do other organizations too, but yeah, and thanks for hanging out. And I'll see you when I see you. Hopefully Sunday. Okay, bye.